1 second. Last week, I shared with you guys that I am starting a paleo-ish diet. I've been really wanting to do the best thing for my body postpartum, and I finally feel ready to tackle that job, so to speak. So I shared that with you guys last week, and an overwhelming amount of you guys said you wanted to hear more about how it's going and just get an update as I have them. So I thought I'd make another cooking video this week and talk to you guys a little bit about how cooking has been, how eating has been, and how this has all been going. What? I don't know about you, but I certainly don't feel like making elaborate breakfasts in the morning as soon as I wake up. I also don't like having a big pile of dishes to do whenever breakfast is over. I find that our lives are a lot easier if breakfast is pre-made in some way. So that is what I am doing here. And so actually you will see my outfit change. And that is because I got the sausage all ready and then realized that I didn't have eggs. So I put it in the fridge and started the next day on actually getting this all assembled. This has been a part of my routine probably for about 2 months now, where I have an egg casserole in the fridge ready to eat in the morning. I was doing quiche, and then whenever I decided that I wanted to go paleo-ish and definitely gluten-free, I decided just to switch to an egg bake. I make it about as simple as you possibly could. I just get some really good sausage from my sister's farm, and then just some farm fresh eggs, and I assemble it just like that: salt, pepper, eggs, sausage, and I let it bake in a 9x13 pan. I pop the lid on that pan, and we have breakfast for probably 3 or 4 days. So I'm in a rhythm of doing this pretty often, and it makes my life and doing paleo so much more simple. This is actually not the first time that I have done paleo. I talk about this on this channel sometimes because probably 3 or 4 years ago, I decided to do paleo for 6 months. And that is, I swear, what taught me how to cook. It forced me to cook every single meal at home, basically. And it taught me how to cook. All of that to say, this is not my first rodeo. And I think that one of the biggest things with paleo for me is being prepared and having a plan. I talk about that because that's exactly what I have to do with breakfast. I find that it's hardest to do it not whenever I just really want a sugar or something, but whenever I don't have any kind of plan at all. It's harder to throw together a paleo meal or a really nourishing meal whenever I've done no work ahead of time and no planning ahead of time. So I find that that is essential to eating nourishing meals at home, is having a plan and kind of keeping things moving in the kitchen. The next meal that I have going is one of me and my husband's favorite. It's from Paleo Running Mama. I use a lot of her recipes because she pretty much taught me how to cook whenever I did paleo for the first time. This is her chicken egg roll in a bowl. It's basically just chicken with some really good seasonings, a lot of cabbage, coconut aminos, and a really tasty sauce. You should head to her website to get the full recipe and all the details. But this is definitely one of me and my husband's favorite meals. I think part of the reason why my husband likes it so much is that he gets to use the wok, which he loves to do. And I love that it's nourishing and tasty and relatively easy. Before I started this, I'm calling it my health kick, I was definitely in a dinner rut. I just didn't like thinking about food. I didn't know what to do. I never knew what I wanted to have. I just felt kind of exhausted by all of it. And so this might sound crazy, but I'm actually having a lot of fun on paleo. I'm having fun looking up recipes and trying new proteins that I wouldn't normally try, trying stuff out that I'm just not, that I wouldn't normally do. This is actually a lot of fun to me. It's kind of like whenever I give myself a really, really strict budget for a room makeover and I have to work within those parameters. I think that my personality does well with limits and boundaries and parameters. And so when I have those, I'm forced to get creative, and I guess really like doing that. And that is why I'm actually having a lot of fun planning meals and cooking for my family. This is one of those meals for me that makes it in and out of my rotation throughout time. I have it once and I remember how easy and how tasty and how nourishing it is. And then we have it pretty much every week for the next 3 months. And then I forget about it again for another 9 months. And then the cycle repeats itself. All of that to say, I definitely recommend you try this one. My new life hack lately is these ginger and garlic frozen cubes. It makes, at least for me, ginger so much easier to use because I don't stock ginger. And so I like having it in a frozen option. And then I do stock garlic, but I don't always want to take the time to put it in the press. And so this makes it super simple and straightforward to use. We are about to head out on a family fun bike ride, and I want to show you guys a lunch that I have been packing pretty often lately. I have been getting canned chicken from Trader Joe's, which has really decent ingredients in it, and then just adding an avocado, some garlic powder, some onion powder, salt and pepper, and mayo, and making chicken salad. And then at our Aldi location, we can get avocado oil potato chips, and we have been loving that with some fruit as a very simple lunch to pack that's kind of always ready and doesn't require meat to thaw. The e-bike that you just saw and we are very excited about is the Hub Cart, kindly gifted by Hofsco. The Hub Cart is a cargo e-bike. It has a 450-pound load capacity, which you can use however you like. Of course, we are planning on using it to haul around 2 children. You can also use it to haul around pets, things that you need, just general cargo. This e-bike is amazing for that. Riding e-bikes was kind of new to me and my husband, but we both found the experience very easy and very intuitive. It has a torque sensor for pedal assisted acceleration, so you can choose exactly how fast you go. I love that the Hub Cart provides a very smooth and natural riding experience. You guys know that I don't need another reason to love summer, but this is certainly giving me one. I know that we are going to use it so much on bike trails, out at our family farm, just here on our lot. This is going to be so much fun. You can adjust it to exactly your needs with a wide range of extension accessories. I know that you guys will love the Hofsco Hub Cart just as much as we have, so make sure to check out the link in my description. And thanks again to Hofsco for gifting us this really fun e-bike. I want to go back to the topic of keeping a flow in the kitchen or keeping the kitchen open. That's not to say that I don't close my kitchen every night because, well, maybe not every night. I'm not perfect, but I do close down my kitchen in the sense that I get it clean, I get the dishwasher running, I get everything put away. What I mean by keeping the kitchen open is really keeping a flow in the kitchen and having something going all the time. This is something that my sisters talk about, and they cook for a lot of people. They have families of 11 and families of 10. So they know something about getting a meal on the table. So I like to take their cues on how they keep the flow going in their kitchen. It does look a little bit different for me because I do not have 9 and 8 kids. I have 2 kids and only one of them eats. So the flow looks for me like keeping meat thawed and keeping a meal plan going and simplifying my meal plan as much as possible. Then I go down to the freezer and I get out the meat. I try to have meat thawing pretty much at all times. I also like to make cooking easy by always having bone broth ready. So I try to keep bone broth going, and I try to always have bone broth in my freezer. Another thing that I like to do, and this is silly, is when I get a Walmart order into my house, if I have time right then, I will cut all of the onions at once and store them in the fridge or freeze them so that whenever I need onions and I need to do a meal really quickly, I know that I have them and they're not going bad. And so that is just one little way that I like to keep the flow. The other thing that I know that they do, which doesn't really apply to me right now, but it might apply to you, is that whenever they get some extra time, they like to mix up some kind of dough, whether it be bread dough or burger bun dough. I don't really know what kinds of doughs they do. Pizza dough. They like to always have something going in the kitchen, which makes putting together meals much simpler and more straightforward. This week, I definitely focused on having easy meals. We're in the middle of a lot of projects, which you will hear about in a couple weeks. And so I needed easy and meals that I could prep ahead of time. One of my favorites is this enchilada casserole. I don't really follow a recipe for it, honestly, because it's so simple. I just got the siete enchilada sauce. You could obviously make this yourself. I had homemade corn tortillas that were a little bit dry, so they went perfectly in this recipe. I did some shredded chicken, some diced tomatoes, and onions, and you just layer it in an 8x8 or a 9x13 pan, and dinner is ready to go. It is one of those ones that you can prep right after breakfast and then leave for the whole day and not worry about having dinner done, and that is something that I massively appreciate. This is also one of those ones that you could make in the morning, but as you can see, I did not. Due to previously mentioned home projects, we have been getting to dinner really late every night, but this is just a simple paleo meatloaf, and it was so tasty. This is one of those kinds of recipes that I forget about in the mistake of just trying to be creative and make dinner so fun. I forget about just the classics, the ones that are just so easy to do. And this might literally be the first meatloaf I've ever made. And my husband loved it. I loved it. Our daughter loved it. So it was really, really easy and something that will be making it into my rotation for sure. Something I love to do and something I love to talk about on here is learning new skills, new things. And that is what cooking has felt like to me recently. I feel like I am learning how to cook again. So all that to say, I'm really excited to keep sharing this with you. It's been really fun and you guys seem to be very interested. So I will keep the cooking videos and trying new recipes and just my health kick, so to speak, coming for you guys. As always, I hope this video was really inspiring to you and that you guys have a wonderful week of homemaking. I'll see you guys here next week on our Sweet Sunny Days.